Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are stepping into a world that needs no introduction, but deserves one anyway. Rolex. No name in watchmaking carries more weight, more history, more cultural resonance, or more sheer desirability than those five letters. Since Hans Wilsdorf founded the company in 1905, Rolex has set records, accompanied explorers to the summit of Everest and the floor of the ocean, graced the wrists of presidents and astronauts and champions, and quietly, relentlessly perfected the art of making watches that simply never let you down. Today, we are counting down 5 of the greatest Rolex references available right now, from the purest expression of the Oyster philosophy to the most coveted sports watch on the planet. This is Rolex at its finest. Let's begin. Number 5. Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36. The Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36 is, in the truest and most complete sense, the watch that started everything. The purest distillation of Hans Wilsdorf's original vision made manifest in stainless steel and sapphire, and the finest automatic movement Rolex produces. Strip away the bezels, the complications, the professional tool watch credentials of every other reference in the Rolex catalog, and what you are left with is the Oyster Perpetual, the foundational object from which everything else in this extraordinary brand descends. And yet to call it a stripped-back or entry-level watch would be to entirely miss the point. The Oyster Perpetual 36 is not a compromise. It is an argument that the most perfect watch is the one that does exactly what it needs to do and nothing more. The bold, vivid lacquer dials available across the current Oyster Perpetual range, coral red, turquoise blue, yellow, candy pink, give this classically proportioned 36mm case a vitality and contemporary confidence that has made it one of the most talked about Rolex releases of recent years. Number 4. Rolex Air King 126-900. The Rolex Air King 126-900 carries one of the most evocative histories in the entire Rolex catalog, a lineage that stretches back to the Second World War, when Rolex produced a series of watches in tribute to the pilots of the Royal Air Force who were, in those extraordinary years, defending the skies of Britain with their lives. The Air King has always been the watch that honors that aviation legacy, and the current 12-6900 generation is the most resolved and purposeful expression of that tribute yet produced. The 40mm stainless steel Oyster case is instantly imposing, but it is the dial that immediately sets the Air King apart from every other Rolex reference. The bold black dial carries mixed numeral and baton indices, a distinctly utilitarian instrument panel aesthetic where large Arabic numerals mark 3, 6, and 9, while minute markers run the full circumference of the dial with the precision of a pilot's instrument. A yellow Rolex crown logo at 6 o'clock and the green seconds hand add accents of color that make this dial unmistakably, defiantly its own thing. Number 3. Rolex Explorer 2 22657. The Rolex Explorer 2 22657 is a watch with one of the most dramatic origin stories in the Rolex catalog. Conceived in 1971 for cavers, speleologists, and polar explorers who needed to distinguish day from night in environments where sunlight never penetrates, and where the boundary between AM and PM could mean the difference between life and disorientation. The defining feature of every Explorer 2 ever made is its fixed bezel marked with 24-hour graduations and its additional 24-hour hand, together allowing the wearer to read both 12-hour local time and 24-hour reference time simultaneously, with the fixed bezel confirming at a glance whether any given hour is day or night. It is a complication of beautiful pragmatic logic. The current 226-570 generation brings the Explorer 2 to 42mm, a commanding case size that gives the watch a presence on the wrist commensurate with its adventuring credentials, in both iconic white dial and classic black dial variants. Number 2. Rolex Submariner 12460. The Rolex Submariner 12460 is, without question or qualification, the most influential dive watch ever made, the reference against which every other dive watch in the world, from any brand at any price, is ultimately measured. When Rolex introduced the original Submariner in 1953, it created a category. The idea of a purpose-built, water-resistant professional diver's watch with a rotating bezel for tracking elapsed dive time was not yet established as a convention, Rolex helped establish it, and the Submariner's DNA has been present in virtually every serious dive watch produced in the 7 decades since. The 124060 is the no-date variant. Purist's choice, a cleaner dial, a more balanced aesthetic, the lollipop seconds hand, the absence of the date magnifier, Cyclops lens, giving the sapphire crystal an uninterrupted view of one of watchmaking's most iconic dials. The matte black dial with its applied white gold surrounds on the luminous indices, the graduated black Cerachrom bezel insert with its platinum-filled engravings, the Mercedes hands. Every element is as correct and as resolved as it has ever been in the Sub's 70-year history. Number 1. Rolex GMT Master II Batman 6710 Batman. The Rolex GMT Master II 6710 Batman, universally beloved among collectors by its nickname Batman, takes the undisputed top position on today's list, and it earns that place with a combination of horological excellence, design brilliance, technical capability, and sheer, overwhelming desirability that no other watch in the current Rolex catalog can quite match. The Batman is the watch that collectors wait years for. The watch that appears on waiting lists and disappears before it reaches them. The watch that commands premiums on the secondary market that have remained extraordinary and persistent for years, because demand for this reference simply never cools. But strip away the mythology, which is real and well-earned, and what you are left with is still one of the finest watches ever made by anyone. The 40mm Oyster case in stainless steel is the foundation of one of the most iconic two-tone ceramic bezel ever produced, the proprietary Cerachrom insert in midnight blue and black. The two colors separated by a precise boundary that Rolex achieved only after years of ceramic engineering development, and which no competitor has fully replicated since.